89.3 The Current. I'm Mary Lucia, and I am talking now with Chris from The Record Company, the band. How are you, Chris?
I'm doing great. How are you doing today?
I'm all right. So tell me a little bit just about, because again, I think everybody I've talked to in the last couple of months has gravitated a little bit towards, let me throw a few more cover songs into my repertoire. And I don't know if the reasoning is that there's a certain comfort with that, but a lot of people during the lockdown, when they weren't able to maybe go out tour, finish a new record, thought cover songs. And you guys, you have cover songs on an EP. And what is it, a wide range of tastes, or is it like pretty focused?
Well, for us, the cover songs were just something that kind of happened out of the need for more music. We had completed our album, and it was time to just, continue creating. And we had finished our album about a year ago. So we're looking around and, it's like we'd done the acoustic outside stuff and we'd done all that stuff. And it's just like the need to challenge yourself. And we were really inspired coming out of the studio. So we're like, we're writing songs and stuff, but we're like, the album is complete. So these are the songs we're going to be playing for a while. So to answer your question, it was just a simple idea of, it was like, hey, somebody suggested, hey, it would be great to get a few more things, that we could share with people. And we're like, well, if we're going to share something, I don't really want to have me scrambling eggs and telling it's like, I'm a musician. I should do music. So I just started recording through this very microphone, some vocal stuff. I'd send a track a day, and it's like, we had just been through the studio with Dave Sardi. So we were really inspired by the production that he did. And I'd do it to a click, acoustic and a vocal, and just try to do something that felt, interesting to me that particular day. And I'd send it to Alex, and I just was like, Alex, our bass player, and he produced First Records. And I was like, hey, do whatever you want. And he would mess with them, So like our song, Ball and Chain, that is actually the cover of the Willie Dixon, made famous by Howlin' Wolf. I just sent it over. When I sent it over, it was like Ball and Chain, it's like, or excuse me, Spoonful's the cover. Ball and Chain I'm on my first cup of coffee, Mary.
That's fine. I was going to say Social Distortion from Cannonball Adderley. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. The Ball and Chain, which was the Big Mama Thornton song. I just sent it over. I was just like, Ball and Chain. And then all of a sudden he sends something back where he had accidentally hit a button, and it went ball in, ball in, ball in, ball in, ball in, chain. And instead of running away from that, we flew into it, and then, so I sent him probably about 20 some odd songs, and it was as wide as like Cypress Hill to, Big Mama Thornton to In Excess. And whenever we caught wind in our sails, we went. And that's how we did it, and we recorded probably about 10 to completion. And then we just picked 4 that we felt would be interesting and challenging at the same time, but somehow makes sense. And also we looked at it as like, we're pressing new ground with this record. So it was like, how do we give our listeners and our people who enjoy our music kind of a challenging listen going into a record that's definitely, expanding our sound. Now, so that's where it came from.
Are you in Milwaukee right now? Are you in Wisconsin?
No, I'm in Los Angeles.
Okay, so are you all 3 in the same city?
Yes. We all live within about 25 minutes.
Okay, so even when you guys were tossing around ideas when you were supposedly on lockdown, it wasn't like you were, miles and miles. You saw each other, FaceTimed each other, talked about what the hell are we going to do with our tour dates, blah, blah. Yeah.
Other than the record, we didn't see each other at all, really? Except for FaceTime. So it could have, I could have been, across the sea, and it would have been no closer. We tried to, stick to the rules as best we could to keep each other healthy and everything. But that also made us learn how to do things differently. Like, I never understood how to create across this new medium, you know? So it's like, I've always just, you go in the room, you play guitars, you plug in, you do, and it was a good tool to have, because now, you know, there aren't a lot of silver linings through this entire experience, but two of the ones that happened was forcing you to learn how to use technology, which I'm still learning, but aren't we all? And also, when we made the record, there was nothing going on when we made Play Loud. So it took you back to being 14. Your agenda was simply music.
Yep.
There was no other thing. There was no like, oh, are we going on tour, or what's going on over here? Or, you know, even the ability to visit other people, see family. It was just the only thing we could do was listen to music and write music. And that was by far the most interesting thing we could do too. So that helped.
Well, and
process of writing.
I can imagine that. And the first song that we're going to hear off of Play Loud, is it your most recent single?
Yes. How High? Yes, absolutely.
That video had to be made pre-quarantine.
You know what it was made during? It was made in that little sliver of time in May and June where Biden was like, hey, we're all good, you know, and so we were like,
take your mask off.
It was the first time that we had been around people. That was like one of the first times we even saw each other, and everybody that was there, we thought it was going to be the summer of love, everybody. So we did the you know, you had to get the test and the thing and all that. So everybody was just so elated to be around each other. And it was in that little window where we're all like, oh, this is going to be great. We've done it. We're coming out of it. And, you know, obviously that hasn't been the case. So, but it did capture an elation and a joy. Everybody in that video was very thrilled to be around each other. And then, you know, sadly, after it's gone a different way. But rest assured, we covered every protocol making that. And we thought I kind of watch it now and I'm like, wow. Ignorance is bliss, you know.
Kinda.
We thought, hey, this is gonna be great, you know. Wow, welcome back. We're going concert. Oh, it's gonna be great. Hey, you know, so that's reflected in the video. It was a really positive and fun day, and I'll definitely hold the memory of that day in my heart for a long time, because, you know, we're in it to keep people safe, and we're in it to make sure everybody can go to concerts and be around each other. So obviously, you got to go back a couple steps, but this was in that nice little week and a half.
About a week and a half, about
a week and a half,
days,
where we were like, oh, this is going to be great.
Well, let's take a listen. Let's take a listen. It is the record company here on 89.3 The Current.
Coming up from the shelter, rolling out on your
89.3 The Current, that is How High, the record company from the brand new, forthcoming Play Loud. Talking to Chris, and you got together with some other songwriters for this record, and I'm just curious again, when does a band get to a place where they go, well, what we're doing is great, but let's just experiment a little bit more with someone else's ear, with someone else's flavor. What made you guys think, well, who should we ask to bring in from outside?
Well, I love the way you lined that up because, meaning like in rock and roll, songwriting is a very confusing. I mean, working with outside people is a very confusing and a little bit controversial, depending upon who you ask. We had been in the mindset previous to this record of we do it all ourselves, and I've been that way my whole life. It's like these are the people I'm in a band with. These are the ideas. This is the vision. We produced our first 2 records on our own. We recorded them. For the most part the first one completely on our own, and then the second one we had an engineer, but we were still producing. And that was our mindset, was just like, we're going to make these songs, we're going to say what we got to say. Well, after 2 records and touring and whatnot, there are 3 of us, and you kind of look at each other and you go, okay, what else is there? So some people that we work with actually suggested, our manager Ken actually suggested, hey, you should work with, you should bring in a person and sit down and write a song. And we were like, at first we're like, oh, no. And this is where one of the great lessons I've learned is keep your mind open. Keep your mind open, because if you don't know it all, there's no way you do. So he says, well, look at it this way. The best thing that could happen is you're going to meet a nice person, and the worst thing that could happen, you're going to meet a nice person, hang out for an afternoon. The best thing that could happen is you could write something that could be a song that you would want on your record. And I was like, we all were like, that makes a lot of sense. So what the experience ended up being is I've completely flipped the way I look at it, because it seemed like to me, and to make it relatable to everybody, whether you're a songwriter or not, you're just bringing another. If you say you have a group of friends and you have great conversations with these people, that's what you're doing when you're making music. You're having a conversation, deep one, and you're hanging out one night, and then one of your friends brings a new person in for an evening, and the conversation doesn't decrease. It actually spins into a whole new area because of the perspective of this one great person that walks in. That's what songwriting with somebody else, when it's working, feels like. They've joined the conversation. They inspire you. They excite you. They reawaken. They change perspective. And in the end, as a band, as Dave Sardi, the guy who produced the record, kept saying over and over, and it's the mantra that really got stuck in my head, was, this is your album. You make the decisions of what it is and what it isn't. We're just here to give you opportunities to see things differently.
Yeah.
So in the end, it's your job as a band to say, I believe in this. And if you don't believe in it, or if you're doing it for some reason that isn't pure or whatever, that's on you. For us, we wrote with some people and didn't come up with anything. We wrote with other people. Dave Sardi, we wrote a couple with him. We had 2, 3 on the record that with him that were great. And then there were a couple that we tried to write with him that didn't go anywhere. It's just like that. So it was a great expansion of our understanding of what songwriting is. And, like just having stuff like we wrote with a girl named Shun, and just having the experience of being able to write a song with a woman, which had never happened in this band, and it's like having her there and her perspective, and her just blasts open, so many things that I, with my experience and where I'm coming from, don't know anything about, because I'm not her and she's not me. So it was great. It was fantastic.
I love the way you explained that, because it truly is just about having the open heart, mind, spirit to see what happens. Because I think when you hear like, oh, so-and-so had somebody write you think your mind goes really narrow to either like Nashville, or like what's her name? Like Diane Warren, who can write songs for like Aerosmith and
Yeah.
whatever. But it's really cool. I love the way you describe that as a conversation. I think too that with what you guys accomplished and had that 8-day window, where are you guys at now in terms, because the record's coming out soon here in October, and have you had to modify plans, or what's in the works here?
Yeah, I mean, I think, the biggest thing that we're trying to do is we want to make sure everybody has a great experience and is, safe, So for us, we're following all the protocols, and we're going to make sure that everybody has the opportunity to know ahead of time. It's like, if you come, we're following the same protocols as everybody else. It's like vaccinated and or 48-hour test for negative. We're following actually the band that we've been really admiring how they're doing is Dead and Company. So we've been kind of modeling what we're going to do after what we've heard they're doing, which is, we do all that and mask up and the whole thing. And that's the choices we're making because we feel responsible to each other, and we love our fans. And I understand there are people that don't feel that is the way they want to do it. And you go your way then. That's fine.
Yep.
We'll see you down the road when we can all do it without all this stuff. But for a band right now, if we want to go out there, we have to do it in a way that we can know that we can get to the end of the tour even.
Yes.
It's like, if I get sick, show's over. So
right.
And I mean, it's a drag to talk about it, but it is the real thing we're dealing with. So let's take it on as people, and we're music lovers together, and we can still have records come out and if 2 weeks from now they're like, shut it all down, we'd shut it down. Right. I'd be heartbroken. I really would. Believe me, everybody feels the same way, I believe. And I think there's just a lot of some of the things that we're all dealing with is just, I think, born of the frustration of just needing each other again, needing our lives back. But that this is, when I was in high school, I wanted to graduate when I was a freshman because I wanted to go out on the road, but I had to get through those last 3 grades to, so it's just like, that's the way I look at it. It's just like, I grew up on a farm. My dad, he milks the cows every 12 hours. That's just the way it is, and this is just the way it is. So we're going to go out and try and be as safe as we can, and we're going to rock. And we're going to have fun.
I will share with you that I was on the fence last weekend. My absolute favorite band in the world was playing in a sort of festival setting, and I didn't go. And it was one of those things I just felt like, because it's almost like I didn't want to taint anything, because every time I've seen Spoon, it's been amazing. It's been
great band.
The experience with all the fans and the people. And I literally just thought, I have to have the confidence, like you just said, that they're going to come back around at a time when this is all different. And I just feel like I'd be worried the whole time, and I would not be able to, just stand there slack-jawed in amazement like I normally would. So
that's and I mean, I think in those instances you make the right decision for yourself. I mean, we're in uncharted territory. And the thing that's I think we all got to forgive ourselves for being not knowing everything. Isn't that the way we always were? It just was a little easier to think that we could do what we wanted. And now I don't think we'll take it for granted, our abilities to be together ever again. But if you don't feel safe, don't go.
Yeah,
if you feel like you want to go. I'm going to be there because I have to. This is what I do for a living. This is what I want to do. I'm empty without music. Empty inside for the most part.
I hear you.
It attaches to every aspect of family, friendship, life. So yes, I'm going to go out there. But if you're not feeling it, hey, I tip my cap to anybody who has to do what they have to do for their own personal well-being and feeling good. And rock and roll, it's like this forge ahead firestorm. Let's do it. Let's rock. And that is still the case. But and if you come to our show, we're going to throw down and we're going to have fun and we're going to do our thing. we all know that you're out there, you're in the world, and, but I think we all have to bravely face that too, which with reasonable expectations within ourselves, being accountable for our own decisions. It's like, yes, the first time I flew, I was scared to death.
Right.
Like, because it's new. I'm like, what's going to happen? I don't know. Do it work? First time I went to a restaurant, I felt the same thing. But in the end, for me, I've just made those decisions as they've come. And I try personally, knowing that I am an imperfect, flawed human who makes mistakes and am accountable to try and learn from them, that I do the best I can with the knowledge I'm given. And I try to be responsible for that. And that's what I think we're going to do as a group. And I think we all, as people, are trying to do that in our own way.
And and the date,
a little bit of a rose on it.
The date that you have scheduled to come to Minneapolis is November 10th at the Varsity Theater, and that will be great. And there's two things I have to ask you, because you have played with one of my complete heroes who scares the hell out of me just with his talent and real rawness, and that is Buddy Guy. What was that like? Yeah. Did you hang? Did you shoot the crap with Buddy?
I was really intimidated to hang with him. And when we played with him, it was at the beginning of this whole experience of the record company. So, we got to play with B.B. King right before he passed, and we played Buddy Guy. And yes, I said hello to Buddy. But the thing that was really cool is his band was like so accommodating. They I see the polka dot Strat, the black and white polka dot Strat, and his guitar tech's like, you can play it for a second if you want. I'm like, and I didn't play it. I actually just touched it. I'm like, I'm not going to play it. I just can't do it. But not because it's like holy. It's just, it's his. If he'd have said you can play it, I'd be like, all right, I'll play it. But I'm just like, I feel like I'm sneaking behind the scenes here. I can't do that. But he's an inspiration. I mean, this guy, it's funny. I went and I toured Chess Studios in Chicago, which if you ever make it to Chicago, anybody, you should definitely tour Chess. I mean, people make the pilgrimage out to Detroit and they see Motown. People make the pilgrimage down south. They see Stax. People make the pilgrimage to Memphis to see Sun. But right down there in 2021 Michigan Avenue in Chicago is where Muddy Waters, Chuck Berry, all these people cut all these songs, and it's just sitting there. I went on a tour there. There were two people there and me. Nice. And they have a picture in the inside, and it's a picture of Muddy Waters recording the Folk Singer record, and it doesn't say what it is. And I said to the host, I'm like, it's Buddy Guy, Willie Dixon, and Muddy Waters, all on acoustics. And I said, is that folk singer session? He's like, yes. I'm like, yeah, my musical dorkdom pays off, And so, just being around people that have seen that much, and done that much. I mean, he influenced Hendrix, man.
Oh, well, you've seen
end of story.
You've seen Keith Richards' documentary. He goes to Chess, and he said that originally when he went to tour Chess, that Howlin' Wolf was like painting the ceiling. Like he was on a ladder and he was walking past.
He said it was Muddy Waters. I know exactly that story. And what's funny is Leonard Chess' son, what's his name? He said he disputed it. He's like, that never happened. And because he's like, Muddy Waters would not be on a ladder painting at Chess. And he's like, I love Keith, and I love stuff like that. I love that. That's so cool. Like it's like Keith Richards, like, oh yeah, I saw Muddy Waters painting, and the guy who owned the studio is like, Muddy Waters would never paint our studio. Who knows?
It's possible. I know.
Beauty of it.
It is.
Yeah, it's the beauty of it. I love it.
Well, you guys are going to do one more tune, and which one is that off of Play Loud?
I believe we're doing Paradise.
on the weekend, 'cause I never wanna change. And don't ask, I don't know the reason why everything stays the same. When the world's so loud and confusing, and I guess I just need to escape. Wasted nights and worn out days. Well, I guess I never found a better way. But I'm getting so close. I'm getting so close. I'm getting so close. I'm getting so close. I don't believe that a place called paradise can satisfy what I see and what I need. I just wanna feel like I'm not afraid of life and be free. I don't believe in paradise. I never found any answer. Believing in the promise of a dream. And that is why all the things I was after don't mean much anything. But I'm getting so close. 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 Oh yeah. I don't believe that a place called paradise can satisfy what I see and what I need. I just wanna feel like I'm not afraid of life and be free. I don't believe in paradise. And I don't believe that a place called paradise can satisfy what I see and what I need. I just wanna feel like I'm not afraid of life and be free. I don't believe in paradise. I don't believe in paradise. And that's why I don't believe in paradise. And that's why I don't believe in paradise. And that's why I don't believe in paradise. That's why
89.3 The Current. You are watching The Record Company and listening to The Record Company from their new forthcoming record, Play Loud. And Chris, thank you so much. We look forward to seeing you at the Varsity Theater in person on November 10th. But I will tell you one thing I miss a lot about talking to bands where I'm not in the same room. And that is, I'd like to know what kind of shoes you're wearing right now.
Barefoot.
I'd like to see.
You'd like to see my barefoot?
I would like you to prove that you are barefoot.
You know, you are a very influential person. I don't even go barefoot in public.
Are you
But I'm
weird
gonna put
about
it
your
out
feet?
there. But
Yeah,
first, I will make you a deal.
Because you might
I
have
will go
Crocs on.
barefoot.
You might have
I
Crocs
don't have
on and you're
Crocs on.
embarrassed. Are you sure?
As my hands are here, no,
All
I
right.
don't I don't have Crocs on.
right,
You know,
then-
if that's your deal, that's great.
Then you don't need to
Here's
show
my
me the
deal.
barefoot. Okay.
No, I'll make you a deal.
Yeah.
I'll show you the barefoot.
Yeah?
But I need to talk about what this is.
Okay.
Because I'm wearing a Minneapolis Moline hat, which was a tractor company in Minneapolis in
Okay.
Moline.
All right.
And I just need to point that out because nobody
shout.
has gotten this right yet. And I grew up on a farm, and I if anywhere I'm going to bring it up, it's going to be here. So this is not a Mickey Mouse thing.
No.
This is a Minneapolis Moline thing. So, all right, now I will actually prove that I don't know if I'm flexible enough to pull this off here.
I know it could be weird.
See?
Okay, there you go. I just seriously, I when I'm doing
I hope
interviews,
that was a clean foot.
I didn't even look. I didn't even look. I'm gonna
Well, a
assume.
lot of people are going to be looking now, so it's out there. Not only am I barefoot, but I'm in shorts. So, you know, I was very,
Okay.
I see you're very dressed, very nicely, rock and roll.
Just
and
here
I
for
like,
work.
and I look at myself when we were talking, and I'm like, I'm in a t-shirt and shorts and bare feet. Thank
You're
God for the
basically-
Minneapolis Moline hat, or
I
you'd never
know.
know I was in a rock and roll band.
You could just as well be in your jammies right now. Well, thank you again. The record's coming out. What is it? October, the release date official.
I believe it hits the road. It hits the streets on the 8th.
The 8th. Okay.
Yes.
And then the show that is set up here is at the Varsity Theater in Minneapolis on November 10th. And Chris, thank you so much for showing me your barefoot, showing me the love you have
Oh, my
for
pleasure.
the Minneapolis industrial world. And thank you for taking the chance to bring rock and roll back out to the fans.
Hey, and I want to thank you for the opportunity and the Current for supporting us for a long time. And the people of Minnesota and Minneapolis and everybody, have been extremely kind to us. So I'm really excited to come back. And I guarantee you, if you do come out,
You'll have shoes.
we are going to throw down. And
Okay.
I always say, when you go into a show, it's one less time, not one more. So give it all you got, because you never know. And that was proven again. And to me so much when I stepped off stage in Philadelphia in 2019 and didn't step back on until a couple weeks ago in 2021. So rest assured, this will be a rock and roll show, and we're going to have a dang good time. Can I say damn? We're going to have a damn good time.
Yeah.
We're going to throw down. So come on
Okay.
out. If you're feeling it, we'll make it worth your time.
Very cool. This is The Record Company, and I'm Mary Lucia. You're listening to 89.3 The Current.